You talked about being a graduate student in Budapest and working with Erde and Sarkozy, and then you went to Russia. Was this common for Hungarian students?
Yes, so we have a system in Hungary. I guess not only in Hungary, but in the, let's call it now for simplicity, the Eastern Bloc, which includes Czechoslovakia. At that time it was called, and then Poland, and so on, Bulgaria, Romania, and so on. So you finished the university, and then you could write a dissertation which was called the doctorate of the university. But this was not on the level of the PhD. Here it is not equivalent, it was simpler. And then the next one was the candidate of science, candidate of mathematics. That was more or less equivalent to the PhD. In some sense stronger, in some sense weaker. That's just the reason it was equivalent. And then sometimes you went abroad. For instance, in mathematics, Moscow was a natural choice because we had connections only at most Eastern Germany, and then Poland, and then Russia. So mostly, of course, because the Russian mathematics was even at that time at the top. So they always, and historically, the Russian mathematics has always been extremely strong. So many meant as a candidate. So it means that you study 3 years, just like PhD, and then you write a dissertation, and then you become a candidate of science. So it was very common to do this. Or you could stay in Hungary and do the same thing, 3 years study, and then write a dissertation. But I decided to go to Moscow because exactly my bad consciousness. So I realized that I have to study something, and then I went to Moscow. I even remember I was 27 at that time, so in 1967 I went to Russia, and then you have to apply, you have to fill papers. Actually, you had to also pass Russian exam. I failed twice, but third times I somehow got through, and then I could go to Russia. But I ended up with Gelfand, who was a great mathematician. But he works on Israel Moisevich Gelfand. He works on completely different subjects, very abstract for me. May not be abstract if I knew the material, if I had the background, then it would have been maybe completely perfect for me. But in fact, I wanted, as I told you, to study number theory. Right. And actually, at this university in Moscow, the main university, the one who worked on analytic numbers was Gelfand.
So it's a one character difference.
One character difference. Now you see, a lot of things can make a difference in your life, but that is a little bit annoying if one character makes a difference.
There is a wonderful Asimov story called Spell My Name with an S, where a person who suffers is advised to change the spelling of his name by one letter, and it indeed changes his life. So this is a reality. It's not just a novel in your case.
That is a fiction, right?
Yeah.
Asimov. So mine is a true story. So I wrote Gelfand. And also because it had to be written, and I use my right hand because at that time I started elementary school in 1946, and at that time still the culture was that you had to learn to write with your right hand.
No matter,
and I am no matter. I am completely left-handed, and also when I play soccer, then I used my left hand. I completely left-handed, so never there. So maybe this is the reason why my A look like my O, or my O look like A. I don't know. So definitely, so I ended up with Gelfand, and which is very and this one letter was a big difference because Gelfand was a small guy and Gelfand was a giant. but I only realized it when I arrived to Moscow, and it was very hard to change because the system was not very rigid, not very flexible, and it was a little bit, strange. You have the privilege to work with Israel Moisevich Gelfand. What else you need? Actually, what you need not to work with with Gelfand.